In this video, we'll learn about how to use Sketch-A-Stitch to automatically match the colors of your designs to whatever thread palette that you choose. And so the first thing we'll do is just point out that down at the bottom I have my current thread palette is loaded, and this is actually one that I made using the Floriani FTCU software, which allows me to create my own thread palettes. And so this is one that I've made and I prefer to use. But that said, when you click on the Select Thread Chart button, there are plenty of different thread charts that come with the software that you can choose. And of course, that's going to include all of your popular Floriani brands of thread, as well as many other different popular machine brands. And so if I choose the Floriani Poly, you'll see that there's a much larger list of colors now for me to choose from in my color palette. And so another thing that you can do if you're trying to find a specific color is click on the thread color search, and now you can type in, if you know that you're looking for a number 702 red, boom, it'll take you right to that 702 red. Or if you just want to say orange and then allow the software to find the closest orange and show you all of your different oranges, that also works. When you open up an embroidery design, so if I click on open and I have this PES file on my desktop, when I select and open a PES file, the colors of that PES file can be automatically converted into whatever colors that I choose. And so notice that this comes up with showing me Floriani polyester colors. Well, when they first are saved by the person that makes the design, they may not be taught to be the Floriani color palette. They could be taught to be a Brother color palette or any other thread palette. I'm not sure exactly what thread palettes the different formats are able to save, but when we open them, the Floriani software is able to change the colors to be ones that are of a thread brand that you use, and it'll do a closest match. And so notice, for example, up at the top I have a Program Preferences. And when you look under Program Preferences, there is a tab for formats. And notice the last question at the bottom is Color Match on Loading, which means match your thread palette when you open up designs. And it's checked off and it's set to Floriani Poly. Well, if you don't have Floriani Poly, but you have some other brand, you could tell it to open them up in the Gutermann Decor thread or whatever brand of thread you want. And so notice now at the bottom here, so let's say open, select that PES file again, and this time when it opens up, the colors are different, and that's because it's done a closest match to the Gutermann Decor thread palette. And sometimes they change a little bit, and that'll probably I've never really looked at that thread chart before, so let's just bring it up and see what's in that. So it'll be under, I guess, G for Gutermann, so Gutermann Decor right there. And so notice that the thread chart is made up of, maybe 60 colors or something like that. And so what happens is when you have a design that starts out in a larger color palette like Floriani that has 400 colors and they match to smaller numbers, then sometimes colors don't get a perfect match. And so they do what you call a closest match. But the idea is now you can go ahead and interact with them even further. So if you're like, well, why on earth did it give me blue and purple when it could have been, two shades of blue? And so I could select that purple color just by clicking right here. And then notice that when I select that color purple, it shows me in the color palette where it is right here. And I can see all of the other ones that are closest to it. And it's like, well, the light blue on the inside, maybe we'll do a blue egg instead of a purple egg. And so I'll just change it to be a blue color. So yeah, it's that's the way it works. If you click on any color, so if for example, I'm going to close this one that's in the Gutermann thread, and I still have open the one that was in the Floriani colors, but if I change my color palette at the bottom to be, for example, it's still in the Gutermann color palette down below, so now when I select my Floriani, let's say 103 pink, it will highlight the closest match in the Gutermann decor. So you can see that it says the closest match is that one, and then you can say, well, that's good, but I think I'll even lighten it a shade and go with the bubble gum, and that's kind of, and now so you can, in that case, you're choosing the colors and it's not auto match. It automatically shows you which one's the closest match, but you get to kind of choose them. So that's basically you teaching the colors when you go. But like I said, if you turn on in your program preferences, color match on loading, it will match your designs to be whatever thread palette you want. And so a good choice is obviously the Floriani polyester thread chart. And that way, when you open up your designs, they'll always display on your screen in the Floriani polyester thread colors.